Basics of Wood by Grant Quasabart.
Alright, the history of platform and light frame structures. History. Wood light frame was the first American building system. It began in the early 19th century. Balloon frame was the earliest wood framing system, and then platform frame is now the universal standard. Platform frame steps in building a platform frame are: first, floor platform is built. Load-bearing walls are placed upon the first platform. The second floor platform goes on next. Another set of walls goes on top of the second platform. And the roof and attic and roof are built on the second set of walls. All of this causes the platform frame to be easier to build and stronger. Light frame structures. Most light frame buildings are built on a shallow footing, consist of spread footings, basement and crawl space, walls, and slabs on grade. Today are stronger due to being built on site cast concrete and concrete masonry, easier waterproof steel reinforcement.
Then we got the building the frame, variations on the wood light frame and wood light frame and building codes. So start off with the building codes here, or the building frame, pardon me. Building the frame requires lots of detailed plans so the framer can finish quickly and efficiently. Framing plans gives the sizes for joists and rafters. Section details is a larger scale with more detail. And the architectural floor plans, location and dimensions of walls. Building sections drawn to cut through the building. Interior elevation used for rooms with interior features. And then you got the variations on wood light frame. You must frame with a high thermal efficiency. Thermal insulation inserted in cavities of walls. When framing, make your framing members spaced at 24 inches to save lumber. Use single top plates in the walls. Minimize all unneeded framing and eliminate all unneeded plywood/OSB. Then you got the wood light frame construction and building codes. The code that is being looked at for the most is fire safety and prevention. The commercial building must have a sprinkler system. The wall must extend down to the foundation. The firewall must extend down to the wall foundation, pardon me. The uniqueness of woodlight frame construction. Woodlight framing is popular for its flexibility and economically friendly way of constructing buildings. Platform framing is one truly complete and open system of constructor that we have. And just a couple key terms here and concepts. So I did the definition, and then I put the pictures for how they are and how they go and where they are and all that. So we'll start with the balloon frame here. The studs in the style framing are extended interrupted from the foundation of the wall up to the roof. This is also the earliest wood framing system, and then there they have the numbered where they are, and that's the balloon framing on the bottom left there. And the platform frame, a wooden building frame composed of closely spaced members, normally 2 inches thick, in which the wall members do not run past the floor framing members. And then there's that picture right under there of platform framing. And then joist, closely spaced beams used to support a floor deck. And then there is that picture right there for you. More key terms and concepts here. We got beam, a linear or curved structure member that acts primarily to resist non-axial loads. And right there you got a big beam going across the littler rods there. And then you got a rim joist, a wooden joist running perpendicular to the primary direction of the joist in a floor or closing off the floor platform, the outside face of the building. There's a picture right there of the rim joist. And then the subfloor, the load-bearing surface beneath a finished floor. And then you got a picture of all your layers on the floor right there. And then more key terms and concepts. You got the stud, one of an array of small, closely spaced parallel wall framing walls. And the sill, horizontal bottom portion of a window or door, usually sloped to shed water below the bottom of a window or a door. And there's an arrow pointing to that as well. And then a sole plate, horizontal piece of dimension lumber at the bottom of the studs in a wall in a light frame building. And then more key terms and concepts. Bottom plate, a horizontal piece of dimension lumber at the bottom of the studs in a wall in a light frame building. Trimmer joist, a joist that supports a header around an opening in a door in a floor or roof frame. And then jack studs, a shortened stud that carries a header above a wall. And again, all of my definitions are on top, and then the pictures to show you where they go and how they work there. Key terms and concepts, more of them. King stud, a full-length stud nailed alongside a jack stud. Header, a frame construction, a member that carries other perpendicular frame members, such as joists that are supporting other joists. And sheathing, a rough cover applied to the outside of the roof wall or floor framing structure. So then you'd put your trusses on there, your sheathing, and then you might put your roof shingles up there then. And more key terms. You got your shear wall, stiff wall that imparts lateral force resisting to a building frame. Let in diagonal bracing that is nailed into notches cut in the face of the studs so as not to increase the thickness of the wall. And then a rafter, a frame member that runs up and down the slope of a steep roof. And then a ridge beam, a structural beam supporting the upper ends of a rafter in a sloped roof. Collar tie, a piece of wood nailed across two opposing rafters near the ridge to resist wind uplift. And the collar tie is right there, right in the middle of the picture there. And a valley rafter, a diagonal rafter that supports a valley. And then you got the fly rafter in a rake overhang. Fly or a valley jack rafter is a shortened common rafter that may be framed to a hip rafter. A hip rafter, a roof rafter at the intersection of a two sloping roof planes. And again, you got each one. These are all roofs, so even the one on the right, that's a roof looking down. Key terms and concepts, more of them here. Hip jack rafter, a shortened beam to support valley jacks. Rake, a sloping edge of a steep slope roof. And then lookout, a shortened rafter running perpendicular to the other rafter in the roof, which supports the rake overhang. And then I was section black for my section lookups. And then building services and heavy timber buildings was my first one. And out of that section, I got they were the first buildings with crude pit houses. And Britain brought over some of their knowledge in the 17th century and 18th century, and we adapted from their knowledges to make our buildings better. And then the other section was long spans and heavy timber. Buildings that require larger than 20 to 30 feet of wood have several alternative types of timber structural devices that can improve our length in wood. And then heavy timber and timber building codes. Heavy timber has to be mixed with smaller dimension wood framing without non-combustible exterior walls. Also, heavy timber framing is acceptable substitute for 1 hour proof rating. Uniqueness of heavy timber framing. The compelling case for wood sustainability and the attractiveness and feel of large wood members are unique attributes that make heavy timber construction of choice in America. And then my reference slide, I found all my work in the book, Chapter 5, Woodlight Framing, and then the images were, I would search the vocab word that we looked up in the Google search bar, and then I looked for an image that defined it best to explain to the audience. All right, thank you for listening.